We knew what Rockstar were capable of when it came to open world games, especially with the Grand Theft Auto franchise. It's one of the most popular video game franchises, and its popularity even today is only expanding, especially with the series converting into 3D in 2001. Then after Vice City came out, you'd think with the 3D world, great story, and fun gameplay was the best they could do, right? Along comes a game so big, you think it's a PC exclusive. But just how much of a masterpiece is this game? Let's find out.
Damn. I'm always damn.
The story is about Cole Johnson, a gangster from Grove Street families who decided to bail to Liberty City to start a new life. 5 years later, his mother was killed in a drive-by and is flown back to Los Santos for the funeral. When he arrives, he finds out that things are nothing short of fucked up, with his family dysfunctional and the gang losing their power to drugs, as well as corrupt officers prepared to frame him for the murder of another officer. CJ decides to stay in Los Santos and restore families as well as earn his brother's trust again.
Shit, that's gonna be a hell of a story to tell when we passing the blunt.
Being set in Los Santos, aka Los Angeles, in 1992, the game also revolves around San Fierro and Las Venturas. I think you know where they're all based off. So you have 3 major cities in one map, which makes this possibly the biggest game of the 6th gen. While visiting all these cities, you're working for another gang. You're owning a chop shop, working as a casino manager, and as a manager of a rapper.
Yeah, sweet as.
Just the plot alone gives you so much to do, and a lot to laugh at too, because this game's pretty funny. Although the humor doesn't rank along with the likes of Vice City or 5, it's still pretty entertaining, especially when a blind man runs into a wall, a hippie tries out a jetpack, and a British musician who is addicted to jerking off.
Alright.
Fuck off, String.
Oh, charming.
This guy seriously reminds me of Squidward up SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, look at him. He has a big nose, he works at a fast food restaurant, and he hates it.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. What do you want? If you come back, you're a moron.
If you pull a weapon on him, he still acts like him too.
We're closed!
You know what? I don't even know why I'm going through the plot, because the whole point of GTA games is to add cheats and go and do things you wouldn't even think of trying. And then again, there's the other 1% who are interested in the story too. These characters have a lot of celebrity talent, and this would be the last time Rockstar employs big names and employs smaller names instead. Big names include none other than Samuel L. Jackson, as well as Chris Penn, James Woods, Ice-T, David Cross, Peter Fonda, Charlie Murphy, and many more. As well as Frank Vincent and William Fincher reprising their roles from the previous games. Quite a list. So you have all the talent in a great story for a video game. But in the end, it's just a video game. More important question is, what's the gameplay like? Well, you know what? I'm not even going to bother, because you already get the picture.
What?
It's Grand Theft Auto. But what I will do is create a list of things you can do in San Andreas straight up. Do story missions, take over a hood, fly a jet, fly a jetpack, mod your car, street race, car bounce, attend vehicle schools, rampage, mountain race, parachute to the ground, or a building, or to your death, buy new clothes, get a haircut, rampage, lift some weights, learn new fighting moves, gamble, and rampage if you lose your money, rob houses after dark, practice your shooting, rampage some more, eat fast foods, insult the pedestrian,
Try some deodorant.
At least I look like the right gender, bitch.
spray paint a wall, rampage with the spray paint, drink some coffee, play a video game in a video game, cheat, dance at a club, visit a strip club, rampage at a strip club, be a pimp, pull a Grand Theft Auto,
Come on, you need to exercise more.
be the victim of a Grand Theft Auto,
What you think you doing?
buy a property, visit the landmarks, drive a tank, rampage, take on a motorsport career, or even an industrial career, or even a trucking career. And most common of all, Rampage. Oh wait, this is the wrong game. It doesn't matter. The point is, you'll be 110 years old before you complete everything in this game.
We own you. You're ours.
You can never complete everything in this game. Never. Because even if you do reach 100%, you'll still, you'll have all these other little Easter eggs and then all these little other activities that some people have never discovered. And I don't mean finding Bigfoot. You can notice how much this game was taken to another level. In the previous games, with the exception of the first 2 games, it was set in only one city. You couldn't swim at all, jump on ledges, and couldn't really customize your character with a sort of exception to Tommy Vercetti. In this game, it's set in a whole state.
Ah, bullshit.
You can swim underwater, fly many different planes, and CJ can be customized from top to bottom with so much choice of suits, gangster outfits, and fitness. Is it hard? Well, with GTA games, to my mind, I always thought they were the first video games in which I noticed that games were becoming too easy over the years. Especially when we jump to the 7th gen. This one I don't really know. It feels like it's inconsistent. Most of the missions in this game are easy, but a couple of difficult missions are randomly spread out like a razor-sharp curve. To be more basic about it, throughout the whole game, the difficulty curve constantly changes from easy to hard, easy to almost impossible. Another thing which can infuriate players, especially on the longer missions, no checkpoints. I mean, fuck. Although later on in the series they employed these. Imagine going through 30 minutes through a mission and make one mistake and had to play it all over again. I will say that this game is possible to beat, but it can be unfair sometimes. What open world games do incredibly well, which is one of the best things about this game and probably better than any other GTA game, customization. As I said before on Things to Do, you can customize CJ however crazy your mind is with the haircuts, tattoos, and clothing, as well as body shape. Although people prefer to make CJ look more eccentric than Dennis Rodman, I prefer to make CJ look more conservative, as if that look works with the cutscenes and what jobs he's doing. As you can see from the cutscenes, it really works. But then again, I always try to make every clip look like a movie, but what some people don't realize in San Andreas are the RPG elements. It's there, but you don't really notice it. Rival gangs will more likely shoot at you depending on the respect levels. Shooting a weapon more will increase your skill with that weapon, along with driving, riding, and flying. The way you treat your body depends on how you perform on platforms, your running speed, and the amount of damage you can take. And sex appeal also affects the way pedestrians think of you.
You smell good, man.
Rockstar tried their best to capitalize the mini RPG elements in GTA 5 with its weapon skill and driving skill, stamina. But San Andreas takes the cake of best customization in a GTA game. Apart from clothing, there's more variety, and the improved stats make a bigger difference as you play through the game. Now the controls. Talking about controls in a GTA game is usually hard because that's not what makes the game so good. But then again, you want to be in full control CJ once you have 10 penny or the ball is cornered. But first, the driving controls. Yeah, they're pretty bad. The cars behave as if San Andreas is a skating rink, and whatever vehicle you're driving will be easy to roll. I'm gonna go off topic, but while you're rolling the car and blowing yourself up in flames, you do get to hear some great music on the radio. The radio has some of the best music in a video game, with hip-hop artists like Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, NWA, Tupac, just to name a few. But if you're not into hip-hop, other artists and bands kick in, including Rage Against the Machine, Guns N' Roses, Kiss, Billy Idol, The Who, Ozzy Osbourne, and many, many more. There will be at least one radio station you always want to listen to. But when you do escape from an exploding car wreck and decide to run, for another car, you could say you're more tempted to run the whole state, no pun intended. The on-foot controls are much better than the driving controls. You can auto-aim on enemies and practically stand on every yard of San Andreas because you can climb up walls, ledges, and swim around. Speaking of aiming enemies with weapons, there are over 30 weapons scattered all across San Andreas, as well as other equipment like cameras, fire extinguishers, and parachutes, which come in handy during a mission. It's Grand Theft Auto, one of the best in the franchise, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. In fact, there are some issues in the game that really fuck you up the arse sometimes, as you might notice. It looks like shit!
Get the fuck out of here. Wait, hold up, man.
I mean, just look at the mountains, underwater, and character models, and the buildings. If you want to compare to other games, it makes GTA San Andreas look like the first Metal Gear Solid, which was a PlayStation 1 game. Not that I'm saying that Metal Gear Solid is a bad game. I will say, the graphics have shown its age, but I will also say that it's forgivable, because when you have a game this massive, you certainly won't have enough space on a DVD to enhance the graphics. What they should have done was use more than one disc like Final Fantasy VII or L.A. Noire on Xbox 360. Besides, no style, all go sounds like a better slogan than all style, no go. Take Assassin's Creed for example. But while it doesn't ruin the game, what is unforgivable about this game is the AI. San Andreas have some of the biggest fucking idiots ever presented on a TV screen. Sometimes it can be used to your advantage, but most of the time, it's fucking annoying. Don't bother hiring gangsters to help you out because they do jack shit and get lost constantly. Cars run into you like there's no tomorrow. The cops don't seem to give two shits about the community. And the enemies in this game have played way too much Ride to Hell Retribution because they just run straight towards you. But even if the enemies are running straight towards you, try to make sure you don't go into manual aim. Every time I get to a mission where I have to manually aim a weapon, I put my head down in shame. Because no matter what controller you use, the manual aim is more sensitive than any religion. It really does make some missions virtually unplayable. Not without a little bit of luck. And no video game goes without glitches. For example, how was I set on fire? As you can see there was no single fire until CJ was lit.
I'm peaking on the blood pressure alone.
Wait, how is Macca hanging upside down and still wearing a hat? Fortunately, all these problems don't affect the brilliance of this game as a whole. You can experience some WTF moments sometimes, but that's usually the case in most games anyway. Besides, what gives GTA San Andreas a place in video game history is the sheer size, the atmosphere, the early 90s presentation.
I appreciate your input, but please, fuck off.
Combined with a memorable story, all on a 6th generation console. This game was really ahead of its time, and it's one of the best games Rockstar have ever made. Unfortunately, the flaws that are evident sadly ruin the chances of me giving a 10 out of 10. I'll stick with a 9 out of 10. Now before you start attacking me with the comments below about San Andreas being the best game, ask yourself this. What made more of an impact at the time? I know you have GTA 3, which was the first 3D game in the series. Vice City, it had a better plot. 4, it had a deeper plot. And it introduced Ragdoll. The only game that comes closest to San Andreas than any other game, 5. Which is also a masterpiece. But I just think that San Andreas is better when it came out in 2004 than 5 when it came out in 2013. It pushed the console's limits further. The plot and acting were better. It was more challenging, and there were surprisingly more things to do. But the bottom line is, us GTA fans shouldn't even be arguing and abusing each other over which GTA game is better anyway. We should just play the games and appreciate how amazing Rockstar are and look forward to what they're developing next. But if I had to pick a best, it would be San Andreas. This is a legendary video game that anybody who has even just a light interest in video games should have. Unlike most great games, it's not that hard to get. I mean, you can get it on the PS2, Xbox, and PC. And throughout the years, it's been re-released on the PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Steam, and even on the iPad. So, unless you only buy Nintendo consoles, or if you live a block away from Jack Thompson, there's no excuse for not having this game.